Fire for your mind. The Kosher Clinician. Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
Yo, the very system they use to convince passport bros that it's a bad idea to bring their significant other into the United States just handed them the ultimate weapon. The passport bros just received an insane advantage, which means they will win in every single dating market on the planet. 4 decades, you had to hide your foreign wife from the West, afraid she'd get infected by feminism the moment you brought her into America. But as of August the 1st, that fear is dead because now the US government has quietly activated something I call the extradite filter. And it changes everything. And I'm about to break this down in this video right now.
Let me take off.
In this show with my dear friend of Peaceful Life, we will explore the proposition by President Trump about the passport bros. The passport bros got 10 times bigger, just like Mario. And we're going to explore how being a passport bro and the options of bringing your foreign bride back to America could be valuable. We'll look at a show in the clip that was done by Darwin McPherson, a dear friend of mine, and I'll let you make your own decision or inquiry about whether or not it's feasible to bring your bride back with the new laws sanctioned by President Trump. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There's 7 steps to a male optimization, and travel is one of those 7 steps that can help a man minimize the stresses of modern dating and relationships. Enjoy the show, hit the like button, and we're gonna have a powerful show today.
Yo, the very system they use to convince passport bros that it's a bad idea to bring their significant other into the United States just handed them the ultimate weapon.
No better if we just let it be.
Give the people what they want.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about
He's a
certain
loser.
other female.
Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You
can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
I know a who used to suck dick every mother.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Fighters keepers, losers we.
My perfect man would be a tall black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds and just do me.
I'm just tired of working so hard being gracious at what I do, getting paid a fraction of the cost. I'm tired of hearing my sisters say the same thing over and over.
Taraji P. Henson's brutally honest and emotional.
Fire! Kosher Clinician. Aside to become the Kosher Clinician, the story and the war cry behind the Kosher Clinician was similar to some of the struggles and the things that I've been through as a man. And some of you men are still going through that right now. There's a philosophical term called an existentialist crisis. Basically what that means is that you begin to ask yourself the question, why am I existing? What is the purpose of my existence? And I think that's been the story of a lot of men that have not been more or less raised or under the tutelage of masculine men. One of the greatest indictments, guys, about the manosphere is that people assert and assume that the manosphere preaches misogyny and hate. But the manosphere is not a response or and was created a silo as an affront to women or black women. But the manosphere was a response to the pain and suffering that many black men were going through and continue to go through as we speak now. Once again, gentlemen, we are going through an existential crisis. Our country is in trouble. Some of you are in trouble, mentally, physically, and emotionally. And you're not ready to move to higher ground until you get the requisite help that's going to help you become the better version of yourself.
Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician. All right.
There it is.
All right.
Now hit it for me.
And it ain't culture. 7 in hell is what they taught you. We'll put them, and you can back up in young Dawson. Kosher. Clinician.
All right, stop that. All I want you to say is, if it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. Say that first, okay?
All right.
All right, you ready?
Start over?
Yeah, start it.
No. Okay, if it ain't 7, it ain't culture, and...
If it ain't 7, it ain't culture.
Okay.
Heaven and hell is what they taught you.
Okay, perfect. Do that again, but give me a little attitude. If it ain't 7, it ain't culture.
All right.
Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
And action.
Young heads picking back up in young Dolphin. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician. That was cool.
If it ain't 7, it ain't culture. Heaven and hell, that's what they taught you. Real men put the strap down and we can toss them. Young heads picking back up in young dolphins. This is our culture. Now we talking kosher. Clinician, masculinity issues, absent fathers who miss you, mama drama don't kiss you, all a part of the ritual. This is how they get you. Separate the men, women clipping babies pretend to. Damn. Lovers, haters acting like vultures. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, ain't right, gotta divorce us. This is Kosher Clinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Clinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Clinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. This is Kosher Clinician. 7 wonders, the whole world gotta listen. Listen. No.
All right, guys, bring it to you live once again from the greatest state in the union, the Tar Heel State. We're going to have a good show today, guys. Do me a favor, guys. Hit the like button. Go subscribe to Peaceful Life. Be generous with your love offerings on the day, guys, because it takes a lot of time to put these shows together. I had a Herculean show on yesterday. Some would say it was controversial, but that wasn't the mission of the show. The mission of the show was to bring clarity to those that were of BLBGLOs. As you guys know, I was recruited by Alpha Phi Alpha at North Carolina Central, but I never joined. But I was recruited heavy. But I'm not going to talk about that on today. We're going to talk about how the passport bros got 10 times bigger. And without further ado, guys, we bring my man Peaceful Life in the house as we break this thing down and talk about the passport bros and how it got 10 times bigger and what it means to men that are trying to travel abroad. So without further ado, Peaceful Life, how you doing, brother? What's going on,
Hey,
sir?
Salutes, what's up, man? Peace and blessings to you, brother.
No
How you
doubt, no
doing,
doubt,
man?
no doubt. Yes, sir. The Passport Bros, man, it's got 10 times bigger, man. I think they call it the Extradition Act or whatever you call it. And let's get a quick snapshot of your position, Peaceful Life, about the Passport Bros and this proviso by Trump that's giving what appears to be giving black men power, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, the Extradition Act, I didn't really have a chance to really go through the full act itself. I watched the video by Darwin McPherson, and I thought it was very interesting. There are so many different nuances and so many different issues you have to really look at in terms of even if that is true, is it good? Is it even a good idea? I think it gives more optionality, but there's also the factor if do you want to put clean water into a dirty bottle? That's the fundamental problem, because there's other factors that are involved, including culture, the influences, because many of the things that hold relationships together are outside of just are factors of culture, the general society, and how men are viewed in that society, including the law. They're viewed, and also the laws, the family structure, so many different variables that determine whether men would get the best outcomes possible.
Yeah, I agree, man. Now, we're going to get into the show with Brother Darren McPherson. Shout out to him. We had a powerful show about 3 weeks ago. Say it again. We had a powerful show, him and I, about 3 weeks ago.
I saw a clip of that, man. It was a fire show, man. It was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also shout out to my friend that showed some love on the day, the first super chat of the day. Shout out to, let me see. Shout out to my man Randolph Noel for that $5 pound. Thank you, Brother Randolph Noel. And guys, don't let Brother Randolph be the only one to donate and show some love on today. But we're going to get deep into it, man. The Passport Bros got 10 times bigger. And, you are an avid travel, Peaceful Life. You travel through multiple parts of far Asia. And I don't know too much about the laws in Asia, but what are the laws for extradition, bringing expats marrying foreign women in that country? Do you know anything about that, or you have limited knowledge?
Well, there's the cultural marriages, and then there's the one that you actually go through the actual system or through the government. Either, in places like especially Thailand, I spend most of my time traveling. But the reality is that even though they have their issues in those environments, one of the things I talk about even on my channel is getting away from the environment that makes men feel like they're hated. Like you're not hated because you're a man in those environments. Your actions and your behavior has a lot about you as an individual, how you view. So when you're in an environment that's not, like when we live here in the West, we literally are existing in a toxic gynocentric environment. A gynocracy is very gynocentrism is there. So when you exist in an environment where masculinity and manhood is respected, just the stress alone of being in that environment, it really, 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 really brings your blood pressure down. Mm-hmm. Because in this system, many guys feel that no matter what they do, they can't win. Because there's so many distractions. There's so many things that are stacked against them, even if they do the right things.
Right.
There, at least in certain environments, if you do the right things, the probability is higher for you to be treated with dignity and respect, and that be reciprocated.
Right, right. No, I totally agree, man. And I've always told people on Peaceful Life that if a man is a broke man in America, he'll be broken abroad. I've always been a clarion caller for men having total sovereignty. And there are arbiters of hate, Peaceful Life, like Tasha K, that's dedicated to minimizing the sovereignty of black men. We're going to look at this clip real quick and break this down about how women like Tasha K try to minimize black male sovereignty. Hold tight.
Passport Bros. I'm talking to the Passport Bros, okay? Let me talk to, because I know y'all in the chat. Because I'm upset with you guys. I have a bone to pick with you. Why is it that y'all are going through? I know Passport Bros that have fixed their child support. Because, you know, they freeze your passport and you're not able to travel if you owe back child support and stuff like that. So they are fixing their child support. They are filing Chapter 13 bankruptcy to get these passports undone so they can get their ass on over to Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Brazil, Colombia, Thailand. When you go get a passport to go to Thailand, we know what you're going to see. You're going to see the lady boys. So here's the thing. I am just trying to figure out with everything that Trump has been doing, why are y'all going over there to go get some cheap cats?
You know, when you hear that nonsense, man, what resonates in your head when you hear that nonsense? Because we've always had power, and this proves my talking point, Peaceful Life. That passport bros and men in general have always had power. They never look at things through the lens of all possibilities, but the first thing that they default to is the worst case scenario, which is men either exploiting women, getting quote unquote cheap cat. But the crazy thing is, you know, you're getting high price cat here that's been severely used. And then on top of that, you know, why do you care what men do with their bodies? It's baffling, you know. And I know what it is. It's about control and power. It's all about control and power. They want all the attention, affection, and resources to go to them without giving black men anything that's a vestige of what, you know, my mom gave my father. God bless my mother's heart, and my grandmother. Both are deceased, but. Anytime men say what they want is always a problem. What's resonating in your head when you hear this nonsense, man?
Well, it comes down to the fact that, one, the culture in the black community especially is a matriarchal culture, and they think that we are basically their slaves to command, to direct, to tell. It's almost like they treat black men like. Look at how they talk to us. Like even with the election, when Obama tell you you hate women if you don't support Kamala Harris, or you ain't black if you don't support certain things. The way they talk to the black men in the community is almost like they talk to somebody that doesn't have agency, that's beneath them, below them. And the idea that men are living life on their own terms, free from their opinions and what doesn't matter to them. What they always like to do too is they go to the lowest common denominator.
Lowest common denominator.
And they always this is a way of shaming men. Right. This is the way they shame men in a way to create control. Because what they want from the black community is for black men to become scrap sexuals, which is that the women have no standard. The men have no standards for the women, no standards on weight, no standards on attitude, no standards on hygiene, no standards on anything. And for the black men to accept anything that they deliver to us, vote for whoever they tell us to vote for, and they want complete and utter and total control. So really, they're just really protesting and going against freedom to live life on your own terms. That's really what they care about. It's a control mechanism. And I see some of these panda bears and these simps, many of them that come through and try to lower men's self-esteem. But everything is factored. Even to hear in the conversations you hear on these panels, everything is centered around the lowest common denominator because they see all of us as a collective. We're not individuals anymore. We're just this color, this race, or this culture. We don't have our own individual identity. And that's the part they use to try and control all of our behaviors.
Shout out to my man, Ask a Brother podcast. Shout out to that brother. Him and I did a great show together. Shout out to the young gent, a black male therapist like myself. We are definitely black unicorns. He's killing the game in YouTube.
Yeah, salute to the brother.
I got to start killing the game too. But shout out to the young lion, man, killing the game. Shout out to Jamel around the world. And we're going to get back into this shaming language because all of this is tied to Peaceful Life. It's called the minimization of masculinity. It's called the deification of the feminine, and the minimization or the abasement of the black of the masculine, and it's wicked psychology at best, man. It's projection at its finest. In the clinical, we would call it reaction formation. Many of these women want black men, but they'll say, "Oh, we're worse off, or we're not good, or we're nobodies," because they really want you, but they don't really want to work for you because black women have not been taught how to work for the love, affection, and adulation of black men. And so that's why you have these conversations with the Tasha K's of the world. They always divert to what's called the worst case scenario instead of having a broad, more general mindset when it comes down to male advocacy, male power, and that's why these shows are so important, because I believe in the sovereignty of black men. I believe in black male sovereignty. I believe in all male sovereignty, but I definitely believe in black male sovereignty because black males were the first ones. They were the original slaves that came here. We've always been mused with black women. So all these crazy conversations about black men oppressing black women, we never had the power to oppress anybody. We were all slaves of the same cause. We were burdens of the same cause. Right. And that's why these conversations are so important. So we're going to get back into it, and then we're going to listen to Brother Darwin McPherson. And so let's finish listening to what she's saying. Hold tight.
To go scratch some cheap cat. And I heard they setting y'all up. They putting newbies in your drinks. They taking y'all kidneys and stuff. And y'all coming back talking about y'all just had kidney failure. You're telling your wives you had kidney failure. And it failed because you went and met some broad up in a hotel room and she done had them compadres come up in there and take your doggone kidney, okay? Because you was trying to get her something that she probably wouldn't even be able to get rid of. But that's neither here nor there. That's a whole other conversation. Trump done sign an executive order deploying all y'all women, and y'all letting them go back over there and get on these military planes. And these beautiful women like this here need somebody like you here in the States to help save them. Go, Jasmine.
¿Cómo fue el trato desde el principio?
No, terrible. O sea, la comida con mi bebé, casi me robaron en México, me robaron todos los documentos, el celular, casi se robaron a mi bebé.
¿Cuánto tiempo estuviste detenido y cómo hiciste con el niño?
8 días. Él no ha comido, él está en desnutrición. Allá lo llevé al médico y él está en desnutrición. Él no ha comido en todos estos días, no ha comido.
¿Qué mensaje le das al país ahora que estás acá?
Que no se vayan. No se vayan porque los están deportando a todos. No, o sea, no les van a soltar al...
What was that? That lady didn't speak no English. You could have lied to her. You could have married her. You could have got her a green card. Why y'all got that lady up on the news like that? And y'all could have saved her. And then y'all gonna come, y'all following the military plane right behind her to go. Knowing when she get over there, she ain't got no way to make no living. She got that baby and y'all gonna fill her full of whatever y'all done caught from the DR and then brought it to Colombia. What? Passport bros. Why y'all got this lady over here holding a baby like this? Crying, I did it again, what a mistake. Why? Because they just said they just got them numbers in. Give me that video, Shaq.
Contracted HIV in the Dominican Republic.
And you know what's so baffling about it, brother? It's like you say, it's always the lowest case denomination. Right. A lot of it's fabrication and lies, over exaggerations. And it's all predicated on power. That's why at the top of the comment is that we've always had power. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button, share the stream, donate to the channel, go subscribe to Peaceful Life. Support black male content, guys, because it takes a lot of time to put this stuff together. And we do it for the advocacy of black men. So if you like what we're doing, share the stream, donate to the channel, and support what we're trying to do. But you know that there's this negative core beliefs that many of these women have about black men is always tied into debauchery and the very base.
Right.
And I think it's gynocentric. Well, you know, a lot of these women are highly immature. They don't have any emotional intelligence.
Right.
They haven't really matured. And then you got a generation of simps, a generation of weak men that tell them what they want to hear. And it's always, you know, they weren't about black men and HIV
right.
and from foreign women. But you go to places like where she lived at in Atlanta, Houston. Houston is a cesspool of sin, and I think Louisiana and maybe some northern states that have high, you know, HIV rates and STIs. It's hypocritical to say the least, because basically what you're trying to propose is that America is some kind of bastion of cleanliness and morality, but it's not. So they always go to, once again, the very base level to try to minimize or denigrate black men. But go ahead.
No, I think that's the critical thing right there. We see the spikes in STDs and whatever else, like places like Houston. And one of the factors I think that happens and that spreads the HIV even more, it's a lot of backdooring activity, as Corey Holcomb would say. You have even these guys, these women, black women don't have any standards for certain men they sleep with. They'll sleep with a guy who just came out of jail that's been taking part in backdooring activity, and they'll get you HIV, or they'll bring back syphilis or some other disease that has been like syphilis they brought back to life because of the amount of backdooring activity in the black community today. The modern day black community has quite a few activity, especially lesbianism as well is going on. But more important, the backdooring activity has a higher rate of transference in terms of HIV. And many of these guys, some of these guys are also having sex with black women.
Right.
And those black women are passing and spreading around since the promiscuity is pretty high. So really it's very hypocritical for anybody in like Tatasha K to really criticize men traveling overseas when we have an epidemic of the problem here in America in the black community because of the high rate of promiscuity that we have and the high rate of sex with all these individuals, especially those who spend time in correction facilities and have, we know, the general population, certain activities do go on in there, and it's just what it is. And they like having sex with thugs and jailbirds.
Right.
No,
I totally agree, man. I totally agree. And I told people that the average black man is invisible. There's a lot of broad overgeneralizations, which is a cognitive distortion that's associated with what black men are doing. Average black men are invisible. It's the top 10% of men, top 5, 10, 15% of men that are getting all the action. And so I believe that black men should start and continue to lift their voice. I believe that all men should, and start continuing to do what's best for them. That's why they don't like these conversations. That's why they don't like black men or men in general coming together, exercising their male sovereignty. And that's why they have so many negative schemas about what black men are trying to do, what we're trying to more or less extricate, and more or less how it impacts them in a negative way. And so these conversations are always powerful because many don't want to do the work. They don't want to serve black men. They don't want to give black men anything in general. They think that we should more or less worship the divine feminine and pledge our allegiance to modern women, debauchery, and all kinds of nonsense. I'm going to go on the record and say a lot of black women think they are literally gods, and that black men are their subjects, and you need to worship them and bow down to them. And a lot of them, peaceful life, the reason why they can't see what men are saying is that because they have the Medusa complex, and we talked about that in the past. Right. But many have the Medusa complex, and some of it's tied to what we call it, psychopathy, Machiavellianism, right, and also narcissism and narcissistic traits. So let's get back to it.
In 2024. Passport Bros, I know that's been one of your favorite destinations to go to, man. I know y'all been in Colombia, we ain't got those numbers in yet. But I know y'all been going to DR, man, ever since y'all find out you get it for the 40. You know what I'm saying? We don't know if inflation causes prices to go up, man. So if you're a woman that's dating a man that travels to the DR for fun, test them. If you're married, man, and he go to DR a lot, test them. We all know what these dudes are going over there for, man. 84,000 cases, bro, in 1 year.
I'm just saying, any man that's got to go way overseas to go get some cat, that's very suspect to me.
When life gives you lemons, Rockstar Wireless makes lemonade.
Hello? Hello? Can you pay for this tea? I called my phone service trying to get busy with my credit card behind my...
All you can do is
what's crazy is that you see how they've minimalized everything to an animalistic nature because that's why they see Kasha K herself cheated on her husband and had an affair, right? So what that just shows you right there. First of all, they don't understand HIV and how it's transmitted. That even with heterosexual sex, you can get HIV through whatever kind of sex there is, but like 0.8 to 10,000 is the ratio. Even with unprotected heterosexual sex, you can get HIV through heterosexual sex. But I think a lot of backdooring activity, a lot of guys get in backdooring activity, that higher risk of HIV transmission. Not only that, we see within, we also talk about the black women that are going overseas too. And We don't talk about the Gambian bumpsters, the young brothers over there in Gambia that's walking the beach with the old. We don't talk about the ladies going to Jamaica, Trinidad, the Bahamas, getting piped down by Quentin. We don't, because black men, we don't care. To be honest with you, the reality is that these women lack optionality. They're only able to get, they're only marketable to the American black men because they have destroyed the self-esteem of most American black men. So that's the only men that will take them serious, unless it's an outstanding looking American black woman or someone. Most of them are just undesirable, and black men just have more options, and they know that. So they come create these narratives to really get guys to stop really using their optionality and the options that's available to them.
And the crazy thing is, the only thing they got to do is to step the game up, start being more pleasing, and serving black men better.
Yeah, they'll never do it.
Well, I know they're not. Like I said, man. What my dad got in my mom. My dad is 82 years old, and that my mom passed away, man. And that, when my mom died, man, 2 weeks prior to that, I had a head-on collision.
Right.
And then right after that, my mom died 2 weeks after I had a head-on collision, man.
Yeah, it's sad.
And so most black men can only dream to have gotten what my dad got. My mom was a virgin when she got married. she won't ran through.
Right.
She didn't have kids by multiple men. And for the most part, she was wife ready. That's what men got from where I'm from. My granddad got the same thing. My grandma was a virgin. That's what men got back in the day, man. But you expect men to pay full price for used cat and bad attitude, and kids by other men, and then even in those homes, those men are emasculated and minimized. Even you and I being Gen X piece, they weren't perfect in Gen X, but they were better than what they are now. Would you not agree? They weren't perfect.
I totally agree, but I think what happens, the typical, not all, but the typical American black woman is looking for relationship welfare.
Right.
They want handouts. They want men to hand them relationships without them having to qualify. That's why the typical average black American man is a scrap sexual. I call them scrap sexual, because the standards that we accept in women is really a reflection of the condition that they've done to our mind. For all these years, they've been beating down on the black male population, raising them in homes without their fathers, the single parenthood epidemic. And those mothers are really just rearing those boys to take care of mama. They're not rearing those boys to get out here and be strong and self-sufficient men and to live life and create and conquer worlds. They're raising men that are easy to control them for their votes, control them for their masculinity and servitude. They're not raising men to be free. Mm-hmm. So that's when they see men, and I think the manosphere is thrown a monkey wrench, and men's content is through a monkey wrench in their plan, because they see black men as slaves. They don't see them as men. They see them as slaves to serve them.
Right.
And how dare you expect any reciprocation? Right. So the average, just like they like government programs and government handouts, because we were talking, I was listening to one of the content creators the other day about who's in charge of the black community. And I said the welfare, in my mind, saying the welfare state, because they look at politics like liberal politicians, the Democrat Party, and feminism and all these other things as their power and their base and their means of survival, the government. They don't look at their man as their only source of survival, like in traditional cultures. And their expectation of their men is just a one-sided situation. Where man's supposed to do this for us. Because that's when you ask the question, what should men expect in a relationship? Their mouth drop down and they start shaming you.
Right, because they've been conditioned to see us as less than, and we live in a society where black men don't speak up. Let me tell you something, man. My granddaddy was married twice. He had 11 kids by his 2 wives, and our grandfathers, or maybe even great grandfathers, would not even look at the typical American woman in general, white or black. Right. And the stuff that black men have more or less allowed themselves to become encumbered by is baffling, to say the least. Once again, guys, do me a favor, share the stream, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Go support Peaceful Life and his stream. And guys, support what we're trying to do. It takes a lot of work for us to put these shows together. Peaceful Life decided to use this time on the day to assist me in this show. So if you like what we're doing, guys, donate to the channel, and we're going to get to the second part of it. So let's listen to this Peaceful Life real quick. This second part about the show today. Hold tight.
A show in a clip that was done by Darwin McPherson, a dear friend of mine, and I'll let you make your own decision or inquiry about whether or not it's feasible to bring your bride back with the new laws sanctioned by President Trump. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There's 7 steps to a male optimization, and travel is one of those 7 steps that can help a man minimize the stresses of modern dating and relationships. Enjoy the show, hit the like button, and we're gonna have a powerful show today.
Yo, the very system that used to convince passport bros that it's a bad idea to bring their significant other into the United States just handed them the ultimate weapon. The passport bros just received an insane advantage, which means they will win in every single dating market on the planet. For decades, you had to hide your foreign wife from the West, afraid she'd get infected by feminism the moment you brought her into America. But as of August the 1st, that fear is dead, because now the US government has quietly activated something I call the extradite filter, and it changes everything. And I'm about to break this down in this video right now. Let me just show you why passport bros just got overpowered, and how anyone who can get a passport can benefit from this movement. Guys, most men don't understand what just happened. There was a huge policy update by Donald Trump, and it wasn't just about immigration. It was about leverage. Because for the first time in decades, the girl you bring back to the United States can't just flip the switch, get westernized, and walk off with half of your life. As of August 1st, 2025, she either plays her role or her ass gonna get deported. No one is talking about this yet. So let me just break down exactly what just dropped and why I call it the extradite filter. On August 1st, 2025, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services dropped a quiet bomb. A new policy update now makes one thing clear: marrying a U.S. citizen no longer guarantees permanent residency. Let me say that again. Marriage no longer means protection. That's the biggest buff passport bros have ever seen. But why is the big question everyone wants to know right now. And the answer? Before this, women could finesse the system. That's right, guys. Women were coming over here, exploiting us and bailing. They'd act submissive overseas, secure the ring, fly back to America, and flip the script. Once they got here, it wasn't long before they became Western.
Shout out to the home of Darren McPherson. The extradition filter. Why do you think that's so important, man? I think it's something black men should have had a long time ago, men in general, white or black. I think white men or black men, but the extradition filter, why do you think that's so important, Peaceful Life?
Well, I think it's important for certain men, depending on how you move and what are you getting into. You know what I mean? Because I think the vetting process should be the same whether you're here in America or overseas. And I think if whatever you pick and how you select a woman, your consequences will come from that. So the biggest issue I think is now, not only if you do make a mistake or if you do try to act in good faith and that person changed on you, now there's no automatic permanent residence or whatever else. And you have an option, you have a trump card to say, you know what, you're out of here. You're out of here. I'm not going to follow through with your visa. I'm not going to follow through. You're going to have to go back home and let them deal with that situation from overseas.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. You know, we got a troll in the house. He said he's a Trump voter.
It's just
hold on, Peaceful Life. Trump passport bros are not getting married to their trick chicks. But listen, Mega Band, they got trick chicks here in America. It's called acculturated prostitution. In case you have a severe case of cognitive dissonance, the acculturated prostitute is actually worse. The American acculturated prostitute is worse than the quote unquote trick chicks abroad, because the acculturated prostitute expects her money up front, and a bunch of bojangling, multiple dates, because that ain't up with prostitution, you know, with the hopes of getting the intimacy. Whereas the foreign whore is superior because you know what you're gonna get. So what should a man do, a mega band? Should he deal with a cultivated prostitute here in America when you got to take on expensive dates, get her nails did, her hair did, because you know she want her money up front versus dealing with the quote unquote international trick. But it's funny to me, man, because I never understood why men are concerned, or I don't know if that's a man or a woman, why people are concerned about what men do with their bodies, man. It's weird to me. I'm not advocating fornication, you know, because I'm trying to walk right, but I don't care what men do. That's between them and God. If they want to whore around and fornicate, they got to answer to God for that. I don't have no dog in the fight. But I just laugh at comments like this, you know.
Well,
it's funny to me, man. Go ahead, brother.
You can see by the way his comment is. First of all, let's start with his comment about people on welfare. Welfare is not just government benefits with the social service department. Welfare is also entitlement programs, DEI programs that give preferential treatment for women for jobs, programs that completely protect women, domestic violence laws, the Violence Against Women's Act of 1994. See, this is an uneducated brother that's trying to be smart when he's talking to two educated, intelligent men. So he doesn't understand what the welfare state is. The welfare state don't just entail just government benefit programs to food stamps and welfare. It has to do with a whole set of government programs that are gynocentric in nature. Laws regarding family court, laws regarding divorces, all those things covered into the welfare state, because those are laws and those are policies that's heavily favorable to women and anti-male. We can talk about the redistribution of wealth through the family court. Those are all part of the welfare state in government. So he's limited in his intelligence. Secondly, he thinks he's smarter than us, which is a flaw of the Black community. We have so many of these guys that have these grandioso sense of self-importance. And what he's trying to do is assume that we don't understand that what the dynamics is of men who don't make good decisions. We talk about it in a lot. A simp is a global victim. And if you want to talk about tricking, America is the kingdom of tricking.
Oh, it's the kingdom of tricking.
You're telling me all these dudes, most of the Black men in the Black community are scrap sexuals. They are in situations where they are the fourth place finisher, where they're eating off the leftovers. So the trick economy is big in America. We have so many simps and panda bears in the Black community. Half of these dudes are getting low quality women. They're getting women that are just obese, bad attitude, stink down below, don't even take care of themselves. And you really can't have an opinion of men who are exercising their freedom. It's just these guys have this crazy mentality and mindset. What they are is the dick police. Half of these guys are alphabet themselves. And I don't understand why they care. I'm not a passport bro, but I don't care if some guy goes to DR or Thailand or Colombia. If he wants to trick, I'm not gay. Why would I be depolicing another man? Unless you're a homosexual.
Hold on. Maybe he needs to be delivered.
I'm not gay no more. I am delivered. I don't like men no more. I said I like women. Women.
Yeah, maybe he needs to be
like Omar, superintendent of the D-police and shit, man. These dudes are alphabet, man. I can't imagine my life sitting around worrying about another man is doing with his sack or his money. Unless you're a broke degenerate sitting on your couch waiting for the first of the month, what would you do worried about another man does with his balls? I'm not a homosexual. Are you crazy? I don't care if he spent all of his money on 304s.
Right, it's crazy work, man. I don't know either. I don't care what men do. You know,
right,
like I said earlier, you know, what a man do with his phallus is between him and the Creator. He got to answer.
I wish I had that superintendent of the D-police post with Omar watching sack all day long. Leave these snow bunnies alone. It's sack police. I think it's a lot of gay men in the Black community.
It's crazy
that are watching passport bros and whatever. Either the gay man or the dude that's in a relationship with that fat, undesirable, bitchy broad, And he's you know, because like he does not getting, he see a guy, even a guy with a trick overseas, right? And the trick has a nice body or look fine, and he's sitting next to Jabba the Hutt, and he's mad as hell. So he's like, well, let me go over in the face and check these guys for consuming these 304s overseas. But he hates himself. You think about the low self-esteem it takes for a man to come into a man's space, worried about those passport boys and who they sleeping with. That's weird. The ultimate of simp energy, man.
It's bizarre, brother. It's bizarre. And you know, why should American men settle for that kind of bad behavior? Settle for somebody like Leslie Jones when they can get this. Hold tight.
Dudes and these passport bros, y'all don't woman correctly. And then when she tell you that, now she ain't shit. No, go look. I bet you it'll solve a lot of problems between us. Cause y'all don't know how and you mad cause we do.
This is the best mental health promo I ever heard in my life.
I'm being honest with y'all.
Embrace your dick.
Hey girl, you gonna eat your cornbread?
Don't say nothing. You talking to me? Yeah, I think you're talking to you.
腰はひねって S 字型。
You know, big old baboon like Leslie Jones when they eat your cornbread.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
Or a man can exercise his rights and travel abroad and get his wife from wherever you want to get them from. If he decides to trick, that's between him and God. I ain't got no dog in the fight. I'm not promoting that, but he got to answer to God for that. But, you know, I just never understood. You know, always try to shame black men into silence, worrying about what black men are doing with their phallus.
Right.
You know, it's
man.
Baffling, man. It's weird. It's extremely weird. The shaming language with some of these bums. And a lot of times what it is, man, they're jealous because they don't have the money themselves. They're losers. You know, like you're well traveled, man. You can pick up and travel. You want to, I could pick up and travel.
Right.
But it got to be some kind of, either the daddy left them or the dad left the mom, or they have been psychologically brainwashed to worship at the altar of black women. You know, we don't hate black women. My wife is black. I've been married for almost 29 years. But I'll tell my wife and I tell any woman, if you're going to be with me, you're going to do what I ask you to do. I'm going to treat you well, and you're going to respect me as your husband. But if not, you can go and do what you want to do and be happy and be free. Because see, I know what my worth is, peaceful life.
Right.
You know, you and I, you know, you 6'7", 6'8", I'm 6'6", 6'5", highly educated. You know, credit score almost 750. You know, I mean, I'm
at almost a perfect 850. And the reality is that you have these guys. This is why masculinity is so important in the black community. I sent you a picture through your email, and this is why it's important to have strong men around. Like, I wouldn't, you know, they talk about tricking and all this other nonsense that I don't care about. I don't give a rat's ass if a man goes somewhere. I know morally it's wrong, and he bought himself a piece of action and pounded it out. That ain't my business.
Right.
I don't give a rat. I'm not gay. Are you gay? I don't care if I see passport bros in Thailand and Colombian walk around with whores. They don't make a damn thing. What does that have to do with my life? I'm winning in my personal life.
Right.
If I'm winning in my personal life, why do I give a rat's ass what another man is doing unless I'm gay?
Right.
Now I can understand the black American women because it's competition. You know, maybe they want that tricking money for themselves.
That's what it is.
To make that one payment. But a grown ass man, ball sack watching another man, that's the epitome of homosexuality. Just say you're gay. Yeah. You know, just come on, man. You know,
the daddy probably dropped them on this.
Either you're gay or you're broke. Yeah. One of the two, and you can't afford the lifestyle, or your chick is just hideous.
Right.
Those are the three conclusions. You're gay, you're broke, or the chick that you with is so hideous. Where you see the guy you used to be called a lame, he's over there with some Colombian chick on her arm, and you said, whether she's a trick or not, she looks 10 times better than that savage you got laying on the couch next to you, rubbing her big belly. You can't even find her snatch no more. Like, she like fat, nasty attitude. You walk outside to the park with her and shit. You know, her back is so big. You could hide behind her and block the sun. That's the type of dudes that be complaining. You know what I mean? Like, I sent a picture for you, man. You gonna put it up there.
All right, I'll get it in a minute. Hold on. Listen to Derek. You crazy, man.
File for divorce, collected benefits, and there was nothing you can do about it. Why do you think passport bros who've been in the game before the movement even started would always tell newbies to never bring their women to America? Now, that game is over. The new rules demand evidence, interviews, proof, and they can deport her even after approval if they find anything off. If your relationship don't appear to be genuine and she over here changing up on you, causing stress in your life, you think that doesn't put pressure on her behavior? Think again, my friend. Every attitude, every act of disrespect, every time she think about becoming independent and divorcing you now sounds like the dumbest decision she could ever make in her life. She used to be protected. She used to wild out, act brand new, pick up TikTok talking points, cheating on you, threaten to divorce. And if you say anything, your life got destroyed. Now, that visa is your accountability tool. She's not a citizen, she's on a contract. And every step she takes, every move she makes, she knows someone's watching. Because under this new rule, it doesn't matter if the marriage is approved. If fraud is found after the fact, even emotional manipulation or hidden intentions, she could still be deported. That means U.S. soil is not a free pass anymore. It's probation. And that's how it should be, because men are tired of being ruined by these unruly women. She gets sent back. No alimony, no child support, no assets. Just the clothes she got on her damn back. And that changes everything. Fellas, y'all gotta appreciate this law, because a lot of the women overseas started changing. TikTok, Instagram, passport privilege, they were scamming men into bringing them into the U.S. and then finessing them later. Now some of y'all don't even know what it looks like to deal with a woman with a westernized mentality. You probably haven't run into a lot of women these days who have been feminized. So let me give you a glimpse of how they act over here.
I know this is going to sound real crazy. I know this is going to go over a lot of people's heads, but I feel like men who don't want to date women with children have issues with their own mother. Why? Because I don't understand men who doesn't want to date women with children when you come from a mother, when you come from a woman. Wow. And I'm pretty sure your mom has children, which means you have siblings. So how do you feel about your mother? It doesn't make any sense to me. Some will say, well, that's his choice. He can feel how you want to feel. He doesn't have to date a woman with children because he comes from a woman. This is true, but I feel like you're projecting trauma onto other people because you haven't healed from whatever happened to you, or however you might feel about your own family.
And you know what the qualifying nonsense from this is, brother? Right. This poor woman don't know what she's talking about. Because in the past, black men just had higher standards. Our grandfathers and our great-grandfathers, even my dad, my dad is 82 years old, man. I love my dad, and he's still living. And I asked my dad, my dad said he wouldn't, my dad grew up, was born in 1943. And I asked him when he dated a woman with kids. He said, no, I would never date no woman with kids. He told me not to date women with kids. Right. So you know, this deification always supposes peaceful life that you know, there's an old cliche in the gospel that says they always say honor thy mother and thy father, but that's not what the Bible say. The Bible says honor thy father and thy mother, meaning it puts the father first and everything else trickles downhill, consistent with the book of Corinthians. Honor thy father and honor thy mother. You honor thy father and thy mother. And men are the arbiters and set the templates for relationships. But somehow, in the West, men supposed to compromise their male sovereignty for the sake of appeasing women that have not been trained to be wives, don't want to be wives, and you're going to always worship at their feet. And like the old folks used to say in the Pentecostal church, the devil is a lie. She has no power over you. In relationship dynamics, I tell all the men in therapy that if she's not respecting you, because I coach some of my men in therapy too. I had a client one time, he won't get into outcomes with his wife, and I taught him how to start walking in power and start rewarding bad behavior. I told him that masculine energy is within him, and I told him to always assert himself. And the man told me, he said that his marriage is beginning to become better because not only did I give him clinical concepts but also I began to coach him. And that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm not one of the quacks in YouTube. Those that know me know I'm a licensed therapist. I'm not a fake therapist. I'm not one of these gurus and fake coaches and all this goofy mess. I went to the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, a Research One university. I graduated honors from North Carolina Central. And I got my associate degree in law enforcement. And I'm going to start being like Dr. Ryan Teraband and some of these other white guys out here charging folks about $1,000 for a consultation. Because y'all got a licensed therapist. You got a cop here in Peaceful Life. But, y'all don't really respect. Y'all say y'all respect male content, but y'all don't really support black male content like you should. Only one person has shown some love on the day, man. Come on, guys. Me and Peaceful Life giving y'all some fire content, man. Well, and so I'm gonna start being like the white boys. I'm gonna start charging big money because the stuff we're trying to give you guys, we want to see you guys win. That's why I put my neck on the line. That's why I go hard in the paint. That's why I do what I do, because I want to see you men win. I'm not against good women. I'm actually for black love and black relationships, but I do not believe in black love without consent. Black Love Without Consent is a book that I plan to write, and what it makes it positive is that we have forgotten to ask the black man what he wants in relationships, and that's why these conversations are so convoluted, because we have not asked black men in general what they want in relationships. Go ahead, brother.
No, I mean, it's a fundamental truth that what you're saying. The issue is that the black community in America and just the American gynocracy itself, it sees men in general as disposable tampons. Right. We're not entitled to any type of happiness. We're just supposed to be used and not get any value. We have situations in America. We have sexless marriages. We have guys that are living in disrespect. We have guys that are not getting any box. You have guys that are getting breadcrumbed in relationships. And we don't really talk about that. What we want to talk about is some guy supposedly tricking overseas. Are you kidding me? This is the land of prostitution. If you the fourth choice for a woman and she's giving her body away to 50 men and she married you because she's running out of hope, what's the difference? You're a trick. You weren't her first choice. You were scrap sexual. At least I have more respect for some dude that walks down Soy 6 and grabs him a fresh, hot, sexy 25-year-old and pounds her out. I have more respect for that dude as opposed to some dude who marries some 300-pound land whale from the backwoods of Kentucky or one of these chicken heads that looks absolutely disgusting. Don't even wear their own hair, makeup, or nails. I have more respect for that guy. But the problem is we have too many of these bottom-feeding black men that are panda bears coming into our spaces, disrespecting men. Granted, we have some losers that go overseas. But ultimately, those are the ones you see men making those crash-out videos and shit. And the society over there consumes them and cannibalizes them anyhow. They don't last too long overseas. And when you talk about good, solid, respectful brothers that travel, that live life, good lives in America, that have profession, careers, are intelligent, hardworking, we're dealing with a different. What they try to do is put us all into one box because they are trying to control our behaviors and our actions. Because the women, especially, you just saw in the job report, 300,000 blacks plus jobs lost to black women. Right. Many of them are scared. Even the one like Tasha K making that video. She's cheated on her husband, disrespected her marriage. In their mindset, they want absolute and total control over black men and our phalluses. And whatever we do with our money and our resources, we're supposed to give and not expect to receive any type of treatment that is dignified and honorable to a man. It's all a psychological war game to lower men's self-esteem and keep you trapped and not exercising relationship capitalism and your freedom. Right.
And you came up with the term relationship capitalism. I didn't hear nobody say it Peaceful Life until I said it. You and I talked about this about 2 years ago. You came up with the term relationship capitalism, and I paired it by calling it hoflation. And basically what 304 inflation is, or hoflation is that average to subpar women are demanding top tier prices. Modern women want virgin prices.
Oh, man, that's the problem. Like I
they
saw
want virgin prices, man.
Man, I was talking to you about it, right? We had the conversation. I was on the Team Fatty podcast, and there was another brother. See, I'm 6'7", and he was a brother that was 6'6", and he was saying, "Well, the average man have all these options for good quality women," and I'm trying to tell him, my philosophy is this: it's lies.
It's a lie.
The average woman thinks she's 10 times better than the average man in an inflated, gynocentric environment.
Right.
The only difference a 6'6" brother has over a 5'6" brother is that his arm can reach further down the trash can. Like, I'm 6'7", right? My arm can reach further down the trash can of hose, and I can pull out the burger that's only been bitten once. See, the squirrels and the raccoon can't get that burger at the bottom. So maybe I get a burger that was only bit once, and the dude that's 5'6" get a burger that was bitten 4 times.
Right.
That's the only advantages of being tall in a sexually liberated environment, is that I maybe am a longer reaching scrap sexual. But as long as you look at yourself in the mirror and realize that if you're in American culture, you're a scrap sexual, and move on with that and accept that. I've accepted it, Kosher. I've looked in the mirror and said, I'm a scrap sexual. That's the reality of American culture.
No, you're not
We're all
scraps.
eating the leftovers. I mean, come on. We're all eating the leftovers.
Right. What percentage of women would you argue have been with 5%?
5%.
Been with less. No, hold tight. What percentage of women would you say have been with less than 5 men? What percentage would you say been with less than 5?
Oh, in this culture, man, shit. Nowadays, 2025, that's tough, brother. I think we're in the 5% range right now. But I always say, let he who is not a scrap sexual cast the first stone. My hands is behind my back. I ain't casting those stones. Let he who is not a scrap sexual cast the first stone. I would say we had a 5% rate of quality, marriage quality women. Right. And everybody else is a scrap sexual. Sexual liberation has been going on for a while, man. I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Especially as they get older, they get over 30. Yeah, man, we are. I call it trash can dating. We're
trash
digging.
Can.
And
yeah, it is trash can.
I'm 6'7". My arms is long. I can reach further down the trash can than the guy that's 5'4". That's all.
Shout out to my man Lee Olive for that $4.99 for Peaceful Life. He said, "Good message. Passport the way." That's for you, Peaceful Life. Also, shout out to my man,
look to you, man. Appreciate
James from NC. He's the #1 sponsor of the stream. Don't let James from NC be the #1 sponsor. He's a 39-year-old man, never married. I see no benefit to marry nowadays, and many people I know look at me crazy when I express it. He said, "I'll keep my peace." Appreciate you, sir. No, I appreciate you, brother. And James NC, man, I agree with you, man. You're not against marriage and relationships, and neither am I. But see, what happens, James at NC, the world is so convoluted that a rational thinking man like you and Peaceful Life and the men that are listening, because the world is so chaotic, up is down, down is up.
Yes, absolutely.
Up is down, down is up. Good is bad, bad is good. So that's why when people say it's quality, it's not quality. Most women in the West have been indoctrinated by liberal dogmas. They've been indoctrinated by liberal dogmas. And if you don't believe me, that they don't respect you or revere you, look at this woman and look at this clip.
My perfect man would be a tall, black stallion. He loves to cook because I'm not really a good cook, so that's his thing. He loves driving. He loves driving the kids to school in the morning. He's just really, really hands-on, with my kids. He's sterile because he can't have kids of his own, so he really cherishes mine. He's funny. We do movie quotes all the time. Every time we go around, we just laugh and do karaoke. He's smart. He is very good with the money. He takes care of all that, and he just lets me, make the beds and just do me.
I'm just tired of working.
That's that's what men gotta tolerate this culture now, man.
Yeah, who the hell?
That's what they gotta tolerate, man.
Man,
that's what they got to tolerate.
If I had to come home every day to something like that, I would turn into a trick myself. I'm not coming back on that damn. There's no way to talk about tricking. I'd be a trick myself if I had to come home to that garbage.
Charles Mercer says only 2% there's been with less than 5. I think he's about right, 0.2%. Yoga says 4%.
Yeah.
Flicky Sticky say at Flicky Sticky say it's 3%. Yoga said 4%. We know the percentage is low, man.
Men living on hope over here.
Right. They live on hopamine, man.
Hope is the only shit you got going over here. The way the market is now, shit.
Shout out to my man.
You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful now, though, because
Right. No, I agree. You gotta be very careful. Shout out to my.
What the CGA call them hobos? You got the hobosexuals now. They the hobo. The economy is changing. Inflation is up. People are getting kicked out of these expensive homes and shit. You got a whole lot of they're looking for simps now. They're looking for.
They're definitely looking for simps, man. Shout out to my man Don for the $2 cash app, and shout out to Revelator, the spirit of indifference, for the $5 cash app. I appreciate it. That's the cash app alert. Shout out to those brothers, guys. Don't let those brothers be the only one showing love on the day. Shout out to those guys. Appreciate it too for the $7 cash app. All right, let's get back to it. Peace of life. Let's get back to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about your own mom? Men who don't want to date women with children either don't like their mother or they have mom issues. Go get healed. Stop projecting your trauma on other women, other people, and do the right thing. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you feel like men who don't want to date women with children are right in how they feel, or do you feel like it's their choice? Let's talk about it.
You see, guys, these women want us to date and marry women who've been slutted out, bust down, and impregnated by other men. And if we are wise enough to decline to do it, they say we are broken and need therapy, because they are being taught that a woman with kids from another man is just as good as an option as a woman without kids. And if we don't date single moms, we must hate our own mothers who might be a single mother, as if our options in a dating market has to mirror who our mother was back when she was dating. Women overseas are not thinking like that. But when they do come to the US, this is one of the most toxic mindsets foreign women will embrace, which enables poor vagina regulation and promotes therapy as a way to get men to make poor decisions.
Do you think a man should ever tell a female how to dress?
What I've seen here tonight? Hell yeah. Hell no. Hell no. Hell yeah. Why'd you say that? Because would you wear that shit to church? I do. I go to church in my living room. God damn it, I wear what I want. But in a brick and mortar? Hell no. Hell no. So yeah, you do tell a woman what she need to be wearing when she leave the house. Just say it. Just say it. I just say it.
What?
Ain't no man telling me what to put on, and I'm married.
Now what you just seen is women who are built like wildebeests encouraging a modest married woman to dress like whores in the streets and in the house of the Lord. Not only that, these women who are unruly and disgusting looking claim they're married and are happy to publicly promote that no man, not even their own husbands, can tell them how to dress.
Of average dudes out here expecting this king treatment from us queens. A lot of guys out here, they are a 6 or 7 at best. And they feel like we're supposed, first of all, you're approaching a 10. And I would say this is probably more prominent over 45. When you're dating over 45, these men got gout. They got a bad knee.
She is going hard, y'all.
They sleep with a CPAP machine. They do. I've been there, done that. You are a 7 at best, boo. And then you want to tell me, oh, you need to do this. And you got me straight. tripping. Because at the end of the day, think about it. When we're in our 40s, we can date the daddy or the son. They on us. So why pick the daddy when we can date the son?
Now, what you just seen is a couple of modern women attacking men in America, calling them average and useless, while they themselves are below average, morbidly obese, and no longer an option for the men they desire because they have hit the wall. This is another one of the mentalities that your woman, if you bring her overseas, would be influenced by, which could hurt your own relationship.
If she block you, that means she still love you. Remember that.
I don't make this shit up.
Going through it now, I'm one of them. I see women on this app like crashing out because of how horrible like their ex-husbands are, their baby dads are, just like ruining their life and just, you know, making their life so difficult. And I'm like, oh my God, that's so horrible what those women are going through. And now I'm one of them. I filed for divorce 2 months ago. I've been trying to look for an apartment, and the places that I'm looking at, I need to make 3 times the rent to be able to rent them. And unfortunately, with my job, I'm a CNA. I don't make 3 times the rent. So I need a child support order to be able to add to my income so I can meet the requirement. And I've been trying to get into some sort of settlement with my soon-to-be ex-husband on that. And basically, he is blackmailing me, I guess. He wants me to sign away all rights I have to his military retirement. Been going back and forth and fighting about it, and I just can't take it anymore. I just want to leave. I just want to move out, and I just want to start my life over. So I offer to sign away my right to the military retirement in return for spousal support and the entirety of the savings account that we have. Yesterday, he called me the nanny. He said that I'm going to pay you child support.
You know what's so sad, man, about all of this, man? How they see men as just being disposable commodities. You're muted, brother. You're muted, Peaceful Life. You're muted.
They see us as disposable tampons.
I mean, how they see men is this you know, the subjugation, commodification of subjugation, commodities to be subjugated by, and it's problematic, man. It's problematic to say the least, man. I just have to shake my head, man, at what so many single men or married men in general get themselves into now. What were you hearing? What did you hear in this short clip from this woman in her proclamations about divorcing her husband, whatnot? Tell me what you heard.
Well, you know, obviously, you know, it's hard nowadays because, again, we understand the solipsism of women. You're never going to really hear the truth about most of these women. I would tell you this. It's been my experience just observing people in my environment and even in urban relations. There's very few situations where the guy was a degenerate. Most of these women have disrespected their way out of relationships. Either they've started listening to that social media gurus. Maybe they watched too much Derek Jackson, too much sprinkle, too much other people's lives. And we know we talk about comparison being the thief of joy. And they start really chipping away at good, honest, hardworking men. They feel like they're missing something. They have FOMO. There's all kinds of distractions for the modern relationship, all kinds of problems. But you're dealing with this delusional environment fueled by social media. And who the hell knows what's going on in these women's head? Every feeling, every emotion they get, they go to social media for reaffirmation or confirmation, and it's infested with toxic modern women, panda bear simps. You don't know what's going on in that woman's head every day. And somehow these women have convinced them that it's better to leave a committed, hardworking man and get out here in the Serengeti with guys like me. God help them.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Hold tight.
Support, and you're just going to be the nanny for my kids. When I told them, like, I need to try and stay in the district so our kids can keep going to their school, and the neighborhood that we're in is a little bit more expensive, so I need the child support order. And he said, it's not my problem.
It's not my problem that you can't afford a place for them to live. In fact, I hope that's how it plays out. Because I want the kids to see that you can't support them. I want the kids to see that you can't afford for them to live in a nice place. And I want them to know that they're going to have to go through a hardship because of what you did.
Now, what you just seen is a play that women in America run over and over again. They will divorce you, fight you tooth and nail in family court to force you to continue to take care of her financially after she divorces you. Providing for the child you made with her is not enough. These women over here want spousal support and all of your life savings, while at the same time claiming that they don't need a man.
To let you know that I have slept with over 200 men from online churches and things of that nature since I met and married you. And I'm sorry because all of that was wrong. It was wrong, and I'm so sorry. I've slept with over 200 men.
These women over here will marry men of God.
Over 200 men. Hold tight, peaceful life. Hold tight. Over 200 men. And what you got now is a bunch of damaged women. They got the spirit of multiple. She got 200 spirits inside of her, and they're angry birds. Hold tight.
Nigga ass, loser ass nigga.
Your video with comments about
He's a
certain
loser.
other female. Just to let you niggas know, we don't need y'all. We want y'all, but we don't need you.
20 years later.
Our black men, we want all y'all back. Because we love you, we see you, kings, and most importantly, we need you. And most importantly, we need you.
And most importantly, we need you.
You can't.
If you a that's for the streets.
You can't delete the ski. You can't delete the ski.
Black men got to start raising the standards. They got to start raising the standards, brother. They got to start raising the standards, man. Can you imagine after you get with a woman, she told you she had 1,000 men in her? That is so disgusting and nasty. And let me tell you something. You would be surprised. Like you said, the chances of finding a woman being with less than 5 men is a very low percentage. 10 is pushing it. Right. But what is a man getting, man, nowadays, peaceful life? They pay full prices in a time when the cost of living is extremely expensive. The laws don't favor men. They haven't been trained to be wives. And, they're mad at black men for saying, this is what I demand and this is what I want. And then when we say it, then all of a sudden it's a problem. What did you get briefly from that short clip of this woman talking about her slowish ways?
I just... It's gotten to a point now, brother, where I'm convinced that there is a complete attack on the black male self-esteem in America, on men in general, to get them to consume the discards of a disastrous sexual marketplace and the side effects of sexual liberation. Literally, this is what I call coin junkyard dating, scrapyard dating. Right. And that's why I took that saying from CGA, scrap sexuals. Everything that's designed nowadays is to shame men back on that junkyard pile. Right. What's wrong with this old used tire right here? Even though it's cupped all over the place and unworn and full with trauma, and it's past the 5-year limit on that tire, but they want you to put that on your car and ride on down the highway at 70.
the DOT, man. You talking about that DOT, right?
Yeah, but they want you literally digging out the trash can as a man. No matter how hard you work to better your life, to level up, to make yourself the best version of yourself, they want you on the scrapyard, picking up the refuge left by sexual liberation. And that's the sad reality. The new plantation.
So what do you mean by this, man? The new plantation? What do you mean by that?
It's about entrapping your manhood and your masculinity, making you a servant of them, your financial sponsorship, providing your masculinity, providing your resources to undeserving women that don't measure up to a pimple on a bull's ass of a quality of a good, solid, respectable woman of the past. You know, it's disastrous. You basically are not getting anything out of the deal except used, heavily, vigorously, and viciously pounded out box. There's nothing you're getting. You're not getting any femininity. You're not getting any cooperation. You're not getting anything that's virtuous and unsoiled. Well, completely unsoiled. So you're really, like I said, most brothers are scrap sexuals. We have to. I've been a scrap sexual. I'll admit it, but we're not getting the best of the best.
Definitely not getting the best of the best.
We're asked to give the best of the best, but we're not.
We're asked, right, but we're not getting. And they don't understand that men are the arbiters of relationships.
Right.
You can't ask a man to pay full price for something that's used. I mean, it's one thing to be used, but 200 men, that's severely used. That's severely used, man. You know, and so what is a man gonna get on his wedding night when he look into her eyes? He can see 200 men. He see 200 men in her eyes.
That thousand yard stare of that's like a veteran that's been through battle, man. Because again, and I see them talk about this level up for better quality women. Okay, look at Ebony K. Williams, right? She said she's tried them all. What does that mean? So if a woman goes to college, her first year, she pledges fraternity, and she's heavily, vigorously, and viciously pounded out by the football team, the basketball team. She's pounded out in those dorms.
With the men.
Let's say she gets 20 bodies in college.
Right.
She graduates, get her master's degree in finance or whatever, gets a good job. And she's 32 now. Between the guys at the job who pounded her out, the guys who she's dating that's pounded out, she's at 35, 40.
Right.
What is 46 getting? What is 45 getting? What is 36 getting?
Right.
Yes, she's educated. Yes, she got a good job. But what are you getting? You don't think that guy that's with her, that's a regular Joe, she's having thoughts of the basketball guy that was 6'7", who folded up in the corner, the guys who are my neighbors that kept me awake at night. You know what I mean? Like, yo, chill, man. Like, and what are you? She's having dreams about that guy, and that's what you see.
And it's hard for them to bond. Sadly, the church doesn't do an
pair bonding is gone.
Yeah, the church doesn't do an adequate job of telling men what to demand. And I was talking to one of my young clients, man. He told me, he said that women being with 35, he said, man, that's about normal nowadays. He was like 28. He said 30 to 35 is like considered low. So and I believe it, man. I would never marry the typical. If I was a single man again in the market, man, I would never get married to an American woman. Right. I had one woman call me a narcissist because I said I don't owe the black community anything.
No, your family. I mean, the people you're loyal to, and But I sort of you seen the one clip where the chick said, "Guys got to pay her $200 just to talk to her," and these people talking about tricking. That's what's women right here in America. Dude has to pay $200 to talk to her. That's crazy.
It's baffling.
$500 for a date. Come on, man. That's tricky.
Shout out to my man at the Revelator 6554. See how quickly these chicks change their tune. 2030 is just around the corner. He is 100% correct. And it's almost here, Peaceful Life. We're 5 years from 2030. I think 2030, they said that 35% of women are going to be childless and single. And, with automation taking over, robots changing the game, it's getting crazy, man. Hold tight.
Church, because over 200 men, a big number of those men had to be part of the congregation. Bruh. In America, religion is dead. Even a man of God is not safe from betrayal. The women over here, on average, arrive at church on Sunday around 11 a.m., which is 8 hours before busting it open for being in the streets on a Saturday night. So the churches are filled with Jezebels in the pews and in the pool pit.
Even I know you ain't no good for me. do feel so good to me.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch.
I'm gonna call you back, huh?
That's an Angry Bird.
Alexandra, come on, bro. What is you doing, bro? Alexandra, this is a scene, man. What is you doing, bro?
What's going on? Why are we running into trouble? Just they dragged me in because I want to kill myself. Why? What's going on? I don't want to be here. Okay, I don't want to be here. Breathe. Okay, well, hold on. Breathe. Let me. I'm going to go.
Now, what you just seen here is an example of the devil in disguise. She looks like an angel on social media and on the arm of her man, but behind closed doors, here in America, every man has to deal with a woman who becomes unruly. Not one man on U.S. soil is exempt. I don't give a damn how much money you got. I don't give a damn how tall you are. I don't give a damn how much charisma you got. It don't matter how long your penis is. You are not exempt. I don't make this shit up. That's the landscape here. The woman in this example is a woman who is dating a high-earning man. She had it all. Everything she wanted and never had to work. Women over here will say that men who aren't providers don't get submission. They don't get cooperation, and they damn sure don't get femininity. But the men who do provide will get it. That, my friend, is one of the biggest lies in dating market history. Don't listen to that bullshit. This is America, my friend. The women over here value their own feelings over everything in life, including the children they birth.
11 signs she's an asset and not a liability. Let's get into it. Number 1, she takes accountability.
Shout out to the War Report guys. We got a big heavy hitter in the house, man. Shout out to my man, the War Report. He just dropped the bomb. But let me say something, Ghost Blue. What's up, Jay Shar? Ghost Blue, in theory, you are correct. But you said, I remember my dad's was, he's a child, and he was right. In society, so many have faltered since the morals of our parents there's no strings attached. And so Ghost Blue said, if we want better quality women, we must demand the same morals as men as well. Have you seen the knob string demands from dating sites? You cannot date more. And I respect your position, Ghost Blue, but let me say this. Here's the problem with that assessment. Men are the arbiters of relationships, and while men should come into relationships having some level or modicum of decency, which I do agree, by the way, you're correct, it's gotten to the point now that average to subpar women don't even want to give men a modicum of decency. Go back and ask your grandmother, Ghost Blue, or your father and your parents, if they're both alive, what the standards were for women. I'm not saying men fornicating is right, but the women years ago were superior compared to women now. They were superior. And you have hardworking men. I see it all the time as a clinician. Men that work hard, try to provide for their wives. I've talked with neurologists. I've talked with UPS drivers, white and black. These men make great money, but they cannot get basic respect. So it's not necessarily a presupposition that is a yin and yang dynamic, even though there's some dusty men. But I would say on average men actually exude, in my opinion, and from my experience, even though it's anecdotal, they tend to exude greater qualities and greater demands because those men have been trained to submit to not only gynocratic law, but they've been trained to submit to the whims of their women. And so 33% of men are virgins that are zennials, I believe, or millennials. 33% are virgins. So what does that tell you? There's 33% of quality white men and black men that can marry the typical average woman. But the average woman has been with more than 10 men or had multiple deletions. And they really don't offer anything. They don't want to offer anything. And it's all based on what the man or what the woman want at the expense of the man. Shout out to my man, The Wall Report, as he's the #1 sponsor of this stream. The Wall Report is in a big landing with 49. Guys, don't let The Wall Report be the only one, as he's the #1 sponsor of the stream. What would you say on Peaceful Life, what the young lady said a minute ago? How would you respond to that? Go ahead.
Well, my first thing is this. Men did not create the dating and relationship market that currently exists. This was a product of feminism and sexual liberation.
Yes, right.
Women wanted to be from underneath the leadership of men. They didn't want men to control their sexual behavior. In fact, they called that the oppressive patriarchy, because fathers, and you're a father of daughters, fathers protect their daughters from being ran through. Fathers protect their daughters from being misused on the sexual marketplace if she listens to him. But most women followed behind feminism, and they wanted an unregulated sexual marketplace. They wanted to have sex they want to have sex freely with whoever they want, to use their bodies the way they wanted to, have complete autonomy and control over their bodies. This is the result that you see on the marketplace of an unregulated sexual market. Men didn't fight for this. Men have had to adapt to this. Because of such freedom that we have, that women decided they wanted, what happens with free choices, women will go for the top 15, top 10% of men that are unvetted by their fathers. So there are a lot of good men. It's just not the men that women, because of unchecked, free sexual marketplace that was designed by or demanded by women, and they only have sex with a certain percentage of men. The pitfalls of that is that those particular men, with all their optionality, may not be the best pick of the litter because they were not vetted by fathers.
Right.
Men didn't fight for sexual liberation.
Right.
Women did.
Right.
So their issue is with women and feminists. They wanted the jungle that they created.
Right.
Now you ask for it, you got to live in it.
And you said something that was very powerful, man. Back in the day, men would vet the men that their daughters were marrying. Am I right or wrong?
Absolutely.
Men would vet them. But this generation, you got men now that want to blow the horn. They don't meet you properly. They don't really talk to you. And then all of a sudden, when you check them, then you're the bad guy. You don't know nothing about them. You never met them. Don't know anything about them. Don't know the background. Don't know if they're mentally ill. Don't know the credit report. But somehow they're supposed to take your daughter from under your leadership,
right,
and groom her the way they deem fit to groom them. But then at the same time, they expect and demand respect from you as a man. That'll never happen on my clock. If you don't come in the right way and respect me as a man and hear my position, you give me a line item budget of what your expectations is for my daughter, I'll never respect you as a man. I will tell you to your face too if I have to. If you want to get in it, your jaw might get slacked. Now, I ain't going to slack your jaw if you don't get in my face, but if you get in my face and try to get bad, you might get your jaw slacked and you might get your head rocked. Because you're not going to dictate to me, you're not going to dictate to me what my standards are going to be. If you're going to get my daughters and the girls that I raised to be ladies, you're going to come in and tell me what your agenda is. If you cannot tell me your agenda and who you are and what your intentions are, you'll never get my respect as a man. How would you respond to that, brother?
You see, the women would call what you just said the evil patriarchy.
Oh, it's the evil patriarchy, right.
They
totally
fought to be from under that leadership and that authority. They wanted to be sexually liberated. They were listening to feminists. So they through corporate sponsored feminism, through the government, they resisted and resented the leadership of men. Right. In fact, they fought to overthrow men.
Right.
And now we have this dating market where the women are running out here. They're getting ran through by a certain percentage of the men. Nobody wants to marry them.
Right.
Because they're getting ran through based on the sexual marketplace that they created. Many of them had penis envy. They wanted to have sex. They wanted to be free. They wanted to be liberated like hippies, running around thinking there's no consequences, because at that point in time in the 60s, when the hormonal birth control came into effect, that was like, oh, well, we got hormonal birth control. We can just have sex at will without consequences.
Yes, sir. Right.
We don't need just pick and choose men, run through men. And then when we get old, we'll find ourselves a nice husband.
Right.
This is an environment that women created, feminists created.
Right. Right.
This is not what men want.
Right.
If I had control over it, if I had the authority, because we have no control over women, I'd tell women, get married before you have sex and be virgins. But who will listen to me? They ain't gonna listen to me. Have your father or a senior man in the family vet the man that you're gonna be with.
That's the way it's supposed to be.
They don't go listen to
that's
us.
That's the way peaceful life is supposed to be. But this generation of women now are very rebellious.
They don't want that.
They don't respect leadership. The men don't. The men don't. They don't respect leadership. Some of them are immature. Let me tell you something. I got a daughter right now that's in college. She's a beautiful young lady. I got another baby. I got an older one too. Right. And I wish a man would come to my house and blow a horn and tell me I'm meeting my daughter and taking my daughter away. I don't respect, like Charles Merchant said, he said the eloping culture taught by vultures that want to take your daughters away. Men that want to take your daughters away without meeting you and having a conversation, I wonder about those kind of men. Because those kind of men, in my opinion, want total control of the women. They want to manipulate those women. And then many times, in my opinion, I believe those men could be narcissists, man, undercover narcissists. Because if a man, a masculine man, peaceful life is going to guide his woman in the right direction.
Right.
Even if she's wrong, even if that's his woman, if she's wrong, he's going to say, no, you're wrong. That's not godly what you're doing. But this generation of men now, they want you to respect them as a man, but they don't want to respect you as a man. They expect you to just sit back and get along with their program. It'll never work on my clock. I'm going to run my ship the way I want to run my ship. If you didn't build that child up and build that, well, I don't care if she is grown, because one of the crazy arguments is they're grown. Just because a person is grown legally doesn't mean that they're fully developed. She still needs guidance from her father. My dad is 82 years old, peaceful life. I'll be 54 this month. Guess what? My dad still parent me. My dad still give me advice. Even though I'm a 54-year-old man and I'm a grandfather, my dad still give me advice. And guess what? Right. I listen to him.
Right, but so what you're saying right now is that, like, when the feminist listens to you, they'll say you sound like Mr. from The Color Purple.
Right.
You are an evil patriarchy. See, they have rebelled against the will of their father. Have rebelled against what masculine patriarchal men would do in terms of regulating the sexual marketplace. Marry before you carry. Mm-hmm. What women don't understand is men didn't create this promiscuous environment. In fact, we tried to regulate this. It was the feminists that created this. And then what happens now is that these women are coming back. Well, first of all, we got to understand the dynamics of men and women. Men's testosterone is between 300 and 1,000. Women's between 15 and 70.
Right.
That's almost 14.28 more times testosterone running through a man's body. So even though a man sometimes may have sex with a woman, he may not, that out of some pure animalistic instinct, he may not even consider her to be wife quality. He may not even consider her to be anything of value other than an ejaculation. Men protected women from this. And a man might not even value that woman or respect her. And this is what fathers and men in the family try to protect women from, being used as a dumpster. and being discarded. But women didn't want that. They fought their fathers. They fought against society.
Yes, sir. Right.
They would listen to people telling them that they were being oppressed when they were actually being protected.
They're being protected, right.
Now they're blaming men
right,
for an unregulated sexual marketplace that
I
they
totally
created.
agree. That they created, right.
It wasn't men that created this environment. In fact, most men, in terms of for a wife, they find promiscuity disgusting.
I totally agree. And they don't understand it. They don't
only
understand
their animalistic instinct that make them have sex with women.
Right, right.
Because this is what's been dealt to men.
Right.
And it's heavily supported by society and this gynocracy, this gynocentric environment we live in. So men are dealing with what's been dealt to them. And that's what these women don't understand.
Right. And somehow those same women will blame men. They'll blame 95 to 100% of men for the malfeasance of a few. They'll blame 90 to 95% of those men, even though a small percentage of men had nothing to do with it, man. And that's why fathers are so important.
But they flood the environment with 304s.
Right.
If every woman or man, if the majority of women that men run into are sexually liberated and are not wife quality, and he's got a testosterone level around 1,000, and he what is he going to do? In an unregulated, promiscuous environment, dudes are going to let their load off. They ain't going to get married. They may not take that woman serious to be their wife, but the environment itself was created by feminism, not by men.
I totally agree. It wasn't created by men. You're 100% correct. Charles Merchant said a man's agenda is supposed to match the father, forming the family corporation. Yes. Right. That's you're 100% correct, Charles Merchant. I always look at people's sideline peaceful life. Right. They don't understand divine order. And they don't understand divine order, and they don't live up to divine order while quoting scripture. I look at those people sideline because they're not manifesting God's virtues. The bridegroom always prepare herself for. The bride prepare herself for the bridegroom. The father taught the bridegroom what he wanted to teach the bride. So the father's job is to groom the daughter for the future husband. In the grooming process, the father's supposed to vet the man to see if that man's agenda is at his level or higher. But if that man's agenda is not at his level or higher, then the father can look at that man and say, you don't qualify to marry my daughter.
Absolutely.
You gotta be at my level or higher than me as a man. But see, this generation of men now, for whatever reason, mental illness or disrespect for leadership or some kind of dysfunction, they don't want to follow that. But once again, they expect you to respect them as a man, but they don't respect you as a man. And it burns me up because you know how much it takes, man, to raise kids and to sacrifice your time, your attention, and your money. And then this generation of women now don't respect the elders. They don't respect the OGs. They don't respect leadership. They don't respect authority. And then, all of a sudden when their lives fall and crumble, then they just try to find a way to blame it back onto you.
Right.
Let's finish this. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but that's the problem right there. The women, they don't respect the will of the father. And then they worry when the situations backfire in their ass. They're 30 years old with full of trauma. Right. They've been in a relationship with some derelict that would not have gotten past their father.
Right.
And then things are not working out in their favor, either financially, economically, emotionally. Right. Because if your father is not available, then the most senior, masculine, respected men in the family should help you vet men.
Yes.
So if you're operating in a matriarchal, feminist, gynocentric mindset, you're going to end up ran through, and you end up going to become, and I hate to say the word, a cum dumpster. Right. Because no man in his right mind is going to try and wife up some ran through woman unless he's a simp or he just down on his luck and he just don't have no optionality. So
I totally agree.
But there's a marketplace that was created by women in their feminism and their sexual liberation. And ever since the hormonal birth control, they've been going crazy. And that's why all these hippies were running free, having sex all over the place. That's that hormonal birth control that set them free.
Right. Right. I totally agree, man. It destroyed the quality of women, the quality of relationships, man. Because there was a time when there was where they were better women. Red Pill Science said, Ghost Blue, no problem is women. No, the problem is women. Period. Rebellious or liberal women or sexually liberated women, as people like points out. Let's get back into a whole type.
For her actions and is willing to make adjustments. Number 2, she is peaceful. She's not engaging in unnecessary drama. Number 3, she holds herself to a high.
Let me just stop the clip here.
That woman's a demon.
The woman in this video is a creator who inspires over 400,000 subscribers and is on her way to have a million before it's all said and done. But why did I play a clip of her? Well, this woman recently divorced the one and only Tyrese Gibson, who gave her the world. And not even a full year passed. And she is now a relationship coach, teaching people how to stay in marriages and appreciate high-value men like Tyrese Gibson. She even wrote a book for men on how to avoid the wrong women. Now, you may be able to connect the dots, or you may not find anything wrong with this at all. I'm just showing you an example of who is giving advice to the dating climate. And see, this right here is exactly why you have to be careful. Because if your woman come over here, if she ever flip like that, it's already too late. That's why I put together 2 things that every man watching this needs if you actually want to protect yourself and know who you're dealing with from the jump. First, 7 data mistakes blocking men from attracting high quality women. If you're doing even one of these, you're setting yourself up for failure before the first date even starts. The link to that is in the description. The second one is 21 questions you must ask a woman to truly know who she is. This will tell you fast if she's long-term material or short-term fun, or somebody you should leave right where you found her, even if you found her overseas. The link to that is in the description as well. Get both of them. Don't just watch my videos and laugh at these women. Learn how to avoid them completely. Now, fellas, what you just learned today puts you ahead of damn near every man you know. If you're a passport bro or thinking about becoming one, this is your edge. The truth is, it's sad we even have to move like this. It's sad that men in America have to look outside of their own damn country just to find cooperation, femininity, and loyalty. But this is the reality, man. It doesn't matter how many millions or thousands, hundreds of thousands of men who fought for this country to be what it is. These women have turned on us. We live in a place where divorce rates are sky high, where women are being poisoned with toxic ideologies every single damn day. And we live where building a family feels like walking through a fucking minefield. And yet, and still, we still want what God intended for men to have: peace, respect, a good woman, and legacy. So what we gotta do? We gotta hack the fucking system. We gotta find the workarounds. We have to master the market, because waiting for things to get better is just a slow death for men who actually want to win. And that's exactly what I'm doing on this channel, showing you how to move, how to protect yourself, how to win, and how to win in this new dating war zone. Now that you've got this knowledge, it's time to evolve. Because when you meet women, whether it's overseas or over here, the first 13 things they notice about you will decide everything. Click that video on your screen right now, because if you get even one of these wrong, she's already written you off. And I'll see you on the fucking next one.
All right. What you think about it? Shout out to my man, Darren McPherson, and shout out to serving your country, brother. Good brother. Him and I done a show together, man. But,
yeah, he's excellent. I see him on the little peep show every once in a while. Excellent content, excellent brother. And what he's really saying is that there's no solutions. There's only trade-offs. You have to make the decisions that's best. Take all the precautions ever. And people try to make it seem like, you know, guys are just doing things and going overseas and tricking, and they look at the lowest common denominator of everybody that they see, especially when they're black or whatever else. But he's saying men have to be smart globally. And we talk about a simp being a global victim. Anybody that has their self-esteem low and doesn't have a sense of self-worth or whatever. You are a victim everywhere on the globe, not just here in America. Everywhere on this planet, you're going to get cannibalized if you don't work on yourself and fix your self-esteem. The difference between here and other places is the culture in a certain traditional environment. Like if you're in the red light district, you're going to get what you're going to get. But in a traditional environment, like when I travel to Thailand, I'll give you an example. I'm in northern Isan, Thailand. I'm not in Pattaya. I'm not in Phuket. I'm in the northern region of Thailand, and traditional culture, right? There's accountability. You like literally, because there's no government support system, when you don't treat your man right, you're basically dishonoring the family. Mama keep women in check. The family keeps women in check. And your treatment is going to be reciprocated because you have in a system that doesn't respects and honors manhood and masculinity. And that's the problem. It's the laws, the family structure, and the culture ensures that you take care of the man that takes care of you. And you don't see, that's not here in the West. Who enforces culture here in the West? And much of the culture is dysfunction. For marriage and relationships to work, you need strong culture, strong laws, and an environment of reciprocation that doesn't hate men. And if you bring a woman back here, the problem with it is that you're putting clean water into dirty water and dirty bottles sometimes. And it takes one, you have to bring women and put them into a system. Right. Now, if you said 100 guys brought their women back and they all moved to the same environment, same community, and those women are in that pot with each other, they can have community, sister relationships and whatever else in those community, that can work because women need a support network. But the problem is that when you bring them into this culture and they start hanging out with the feminists, who knows what type of debauchery goes on in the mind.
No, I totally agree with this. This is another form of debauchery. Let's watch this. Hold tight.
Yes, I am pregnant. Pregnant with my 6th child. This is gonna be my 4th baby daddy. Yes, it's true. It's true. Yes, I am homeless. I'm homeless. I'm living out of my car. I'm living out of hotels. I'm living from pillar to post, okay? I have no job. Yes, I have no job, okay? We listen and we don't judge. I have no job. I'm 35 years old, living out of my car, pregnant, not with the baby daddy, by myself. Could life get any worse? Possibly. I mean, I could step out tomorrow and get hit by a car. And then we're in the hospital. Shit, that would not be good. So the next time somebody comes to my comments asking me questions, refer back to this video. Yes, I know I'm old as okay? Got a hell of a lot of kids. I'm homeless. And I'm broke. But guess what? I'm still alive and I'm living and I'm grateful and I can see and I can hear and I can smell and I can enjoy my babies. And I'm living and I'm healthy. I have my health. So yes, it's hard. My life's a mess. But the great thing about being at the bottom is the only way up, the only way is up, huh?
When you look at her tattoos, that's the main thing that I started focusing on after the shock and awe of the whole story, because, you know, sometimes I just be trying to figure out how people could even find themselves in a situation this deep, this dark, you know, like even just me by myself. Sometimes at portions of my life, I was just trying to make sense of how I got here and what the hell was going on. And it was just, man, it's hard or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But eventually you pull yourself out, and it's difficult pulling yourself out when you by yourself or when you just have, you know, you got a small daughter and you got a wife and it's just y'all three and you trying to hustle up and get to it, right? But when you start to think about this type of stuff, and again, Tattoo said that she was from Los Angeles on her arm over there. And this is why our culture and why Trump has to come in and say, all right, listen, if y'all don't continue to try to do something for yourself, and if you're not going to take responsibility, we can't keep just continuing to feed this monster, this demon, because it's a lot of people like her, both black and white, that use welfare, government assistance, keep getting pregnant. She says listen, y'all, she's pregnant again. I don't even remember exactly how many children that she had. I think she had 6 kids with 4 different fathers, and she's pregnant again, and she's homeless trying to figure it out, but life can't get no worse. But that's not stopping you from opening your legs. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are poor people having sex? That is my number one question.
This proves your point and my point. What did you gather? What do you gather from this debate?
Well, you know, again, these are self-inflicted wounds. It's hard for me to believe when I see people sometime, if they're not showing clear signs and evidence of some type of mental illness, we can assume that in America, we have parents, we have grandparents, we have the social welfare system. Imagine the type of violation that has to occur for someone to allow a young lady like that to be out there in the streets. Because again, these are alligator tears most of the time. Imagine maybe they've disrespected grandma, disrespected auntie, disrespected dad, disrespected mom, being hard-headed, not listening.
Mm-hmm.
You can't tell me a woman like that, considering also how many simps we have in this culture, she could not have made a decision if she wanted to be in a decent situation with a man. But this is the part of the mental illness and problems that we see in society. But she's going to be a professional victim. Some simp is going to be stupid enough to come save her. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
They watch that video and say, baby, you come stay with me.
I totally agree. Thus rewarding bad behavior. Can you imagine 6 kids by 4 different men? And that goes back to what you were saying about the sexual revolution. And that to me is a sign of mental illness, man. That's some kind of unresolved mental illness. Real quick, let's look at this real quick before I let you go. Hold tight.
Marriage is one of the most important steps in life. But when it comes to U.S. immigration, it's more than just love. It's a legal contract with serious consequences. And in 2025, marriage fraud is the biggest immigration mistake you can make. This year, USCIS is cracking down harder than ever before. The consequences? Deportation, jail time, and a permanent ban from ever entering the United States again. So what exactly is marriage fraud? It happens when someone marries a U.S. citizen or green card holder solely to gain immigration benefits, like a green card, work authorization, or permanent residency. U.S. immigration law under Section 275C of the Immigration and Nationality Act clearly states that marriage fraud is a federal crime. If convicted, both the immigrant and the U.S. citizen can face up to 5 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, and a lifetime ban on future immigration applications. Whether both parties are aware or one is tricked into the situation, it doesn't matter. The government takes it seriously. In 2025, the Department of Homeland Security has launched a powerful new campaign to stop fraudulent marriages. The Integrity First initiative, expanded under President Donald Trump's current term, has given USCIS $200 million in additional funding to strengthen marriage fraud investigations. A new Marriage Integrity Task Force, known as MITF, was created in March. This special team works directly with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, local law enforcement, and digital surveillance experts to identify and investigate suspicious marriages. The most powerful...
Peaceful Life, what's been your story, man, of men that have been victims of marriage fraud and women trying to use them as a come up with the green card? And what do you think about this law provision?
I think it's excellent. I mean, whenever I've not really witnessed too much of this myself in terms of most of the stories you see is usually from social media, and to be honest with you, the majority of that even comes with couples that, like, let's say a couple comes from Africa, Nigeria. The woman comes to America with her husband. She starts going to school. Maybe she gets a nursing degree, become a nurse practitioner. And she starts disrespecting her husband. I've seen more of that type of situation than actually a man just bringing a woman over for marriage fraud. I've seen women just change because they come into the culture themselves. I see that more often than anything else. Now, when I see or recognize situation of marriage fraud, it's usually a guy that goes into some red light district, grabs some woman, or he's 65 and she is 28, and he brings her here to America. And obviously, with all the optionality that she has, you know, you're going to have problems. That's the situation that you see where you have a lot of these marriage fraud. Very rarely do you see certain guy, like a guy is 40 and a woman's 35, but a guy is 40 and a woman's 28, or a guy is 35 and a woman is 22 or 23. It's really happening. Like, what happens is a lot of these older guys that don't take care of themselves, that are getting with women in somewhere in the Philippines or something like that, and then they're bringing them here to America. The guy looked like he just fell out of the back of a trash can, and he's getting cooked. We see those situations where fools get played all the time. And that's more of a situation where that guy was outside of his range completely. And those situations happen quite frankly, a lot. But the fundamental problem that we have right now is what I'm seeing even here in America is marriage fraud on an even higher level. Because what's happening now is women are marrying the simp. Mm-hmm. They're saving marriage for the fourth place finisher. Mm-hmm. So that's marriage fraud right here in America. Mm-hmm. So I can't even go to such a small fraction of percentage of men bringing women overseas. I can't even look at that. I got to look at the marriage fraud right here in front of us, right in front of our face. Every day we see marriage fraud. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can go down the list. Look at Tyrese. Tyrese is right here in America. Marriage fraud. You know, women getting with men that they would not date if they were 22. And that is the biggest marriage fraud I see out here nowadays. Not this overseas bringing women here. Is women now, it's going to be a simp epidemic of women looking for certain type of men for resources. That's coming to America. Mm-hmm. That's here in America, and it's only going to get worse because of inflation.
Right. I agree with you 100%, brother. Hold tight real quick. Hold tight.
Full new weapon in this crackdown is artificial intelligence. USCIS now uses advanced AI systems that scan your social media, cross-check public records, and even monitor your online activity. If your Instagram says you're single, but your I-130 says you're married, that could trigger an investigation. In fact, hundreds of marriage cases have already been flagged this year through these AI-based detection tools. So, how does USCIS investigate suspected marriage fraud? First, they review your paperwork. They'll look closely at your marriage certificate, joint leases, shared utility bills, photos, bank statements, and more. Then comes the marriage interview. Most couples are interviewed together, but if there's any doubt, they'll split you into separate rooms for what's called a Stokes interview. In this session, both spouses are asked the same questions. Everything from how you met to what side of the bed you sleep on. If your answers don't match, your case could be denied. Home visits are another key part of the process. In 2025, surprise visits to applicants' homes have tripled. Officers may show up unannounced to see if the couple is really living together. They may ask to walk through your apartment, check your bedroom, look in your closet, even your refrigerator. If it looks staged, or if only one person seems to live there, that's a red flag. USCIS also now monitors your social media activity. If you never post about your spouse, or if your accounts look suspicious, that might lead to further review. They'll also check for duplicate addresses, false claims on your taxes, or reports made by neighbors or family members. In fact, anyone, including jealous exes or angry relatives, can report a suspected fake marriage. These anonymous tips are taken seriously. Now let's talk about the top red flags that raise USCIS suspicion. First, a big age difference, especially 10 years or more. Second, a lack of a shared language between the spouses. If you can't communicate clearly, how can you build a life together? Another red flag is not living at the same address. If your lease or utility bills don't...
What do you think about these safeguards, man, that they're trying to implement, man? Some of them. What do you think about these safeguards, man?
I think they're excellent, but it doesn't really solve the problem, because what inevitably you're dealing with culture, and you're dealing with, I still wouldn't bring them back here. I would do like maybe a 6-6 or 8-4 situation if I was a guy overseas. Because what happens inevitably is, do you want to be in a man-hating culture? Or do you want to be getting spoiled overseas?
Right.
And then also the economic factors in there is that, okay, when I go in northern Thailand, my rent is $300 a month. And I'm eating for like maybe $8 a day. And I'm enjoying my life in a culture that doesn't hate men. And the women over there are controlled by culture. It is culture to treat men good. It's not because, that's their culture and their customs as opposed to here. But I think the biggest focus need to be focused on what I see now is the marriage fraud that's going on in America, the rebranding, the revirgination in the church. Where all these Christian feminists are starting to stack up in there looking for a simp. Men they would not date when they were 23 years old. I think that's the biggest marriage fraud.
Right.
They're trying to Jesus their way into marriage with these blown out, worn out vaginas. That's the ultimate marriage fraud. They have no desire. If you quote that, what's that? Timothy, that voice where he says the man is the head of his wife, that scripture kills him.
It kills him, right.
Marriage fraud is the new reality now with the economy going the way it is. I think I can see the increase of these women getting desperate, trying to lock down a simp. Men have got to be careful, because that woman, and you don't look like nothing that she would have dated in her 20s, because these women don't change their taste in men. They change their taste in lifestyle.
Yes.
I think the foreign market is so small in comparison, so microscopic, that I think we don't want to distract ourselves from the savages that are in front of us trying to exploit the shit out of the average man. I mean, that's the truth. You have a good job. I don't care if you work at UPS or the post office or you're a mechanic or whatever else. These women are broke and they're looking for a sucker.
I totally agree. I'm gonna play a little more of this and I'm gonna end it, man. Just a little bit more. I'm gonna be respectful of your time. Hold tight.
That's all right, bro.
Don't match? That's a problem. Quick online relationships that lead to sudden marriages are also high risk. If you met online and got married within a few months, expect deeper scrutiny. No joint finances, no wedding photos with family, or inconsistent relationship timelines. These are all signs USCIS looks for. And if your social media doesn't reflect your relationship, for example, no wedding photos, no couple selfies, no tagged locations together, that's another strike. In 2025, USCIS officers are trained to think like digital detectives. Anything that seems off can lead to an investigation. But what happens if they decide your marriage is fake? The penalties are severe. If you're the foreign spouse, you'll be denied your green card, placed in removal proceedings, and permanently barred from entering the United States again. If you're already in the country, you'll likely be deported. You could also face federal criminal charges. If you're the U.S. citizen or green card holder who helped commit the fraud, you could be fined, jailed, and banned from ever sponsoring anyone else. You may also be prosecuted under federal fraud or conspiracy charges. And
what's the worst horror story, man? We're gonna end this in a minute. I'm not gonna play all of this, but it's good. But what's the worst horror story, Pete?
Your mic went dead. I can't hear your voice.
You hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yeah.
I was saying, what is the worst horror story that you've seen in men that brought wives back or brought women back to the country? And
not necessarily past, just like because I living in places like New Jersey are close to the African community. A lot of the African brothers had wives switched up on them after they've paid for their schooling and sent them to college, and they got these degrees, and some of them are Jamaican brothers too. The women start thinking they were better than them. Mm-hmm. You see, many of these guys work jobs like carpentry or other jobs, skills tradesmen, and then their wives went and got these degrees because maybe she became a nurse or got a master's degree in something, and they started giving them hell. Mm-hmm. Now, I've seen that happen quite a bit with the foreign brothers coming here, or guys. It's not even just American brothers here. Most of the situations that we hear about and see about is guys in these age gap relationships coming back, and that's where a lot of the problem is, especially when the guy looked like he looked like he just fell out of a trash can. It's never really guys that like us or look like us or guys that are squared away. It's usually that dude that looked like he come out the trash can or some guy that has some type of, issues. I see that happen a lot. There are some good brothers that do things, but 9 times out of 10, the problems that I see overseas is guys in the red light district. If you try to turn a bar girl into a wife or something like that, you're asking for shit. Her default is prostitution. Mm-hmm. She's going to go back to it whenever in default, she's going to go back to what she is. Right. But I think we're in such a calamity in the American dating and relation market. We don't even have the privilege of looking at the debauchery overseas, because what we are in now is a cannibalistic, hedonistic, evil environment of exploitation. For the American man out here, we have a situation where these dudes are getting in these relationship with these women and completely getting devoured.
Right.
Yeah.
So the $1 million question is, before I end the stream, would you bring you're a single man, would you bring a woman back to America? Because that's been the overall question. Would you bring
as a 50-year-old guy, yes, I would. In the low season, like for instance, if I come back, it would be like she'd be here from like April to October or November until it starts getting cold and we're out of here. Mm-hmm. Because I would rather be the way you're treated as a man in a traditional environment, traditional culture, where I hang out at. I get treated so well, I wouldn't want to bring it back here. I don't want to be in this culture. The culture is the problem. Mm-hmm. It doesn't respect, honor, or value men. You can't win in this culture. There's always distractions. There's always problems. And there's no shame for disrespecting men.
I totally agree. I totally agree. Unlike what we had in the past. What'd you get out of this conversation, man? How was it relevant? What did you garner from this conversation? Peaceful Life, this show that we did today. What'd you garner from it?
It's all about, like, what I garnered from it is really about men being prepared mentally, understanding, having all the information, making intelligent decisions about their future, men exercising their freedom, men not allowing people to shame them into accepting mediocrity, and just a basic understanding of, what the laws are and what men need to do moving forward if they decide to go overseas. And I think Darwin did an extra video on that. You covered the topic brilliantly, because nothing is perfect. There's all trade-offs. You decide which trade-off is best to you. And I believe in relationship capitalism. Let she who competes be chosen. If you don't want to compete, nobody's going to build any community for you. Get up off your fat ass, learn how to cook, get in shape, do better, and then the best way to get what you want is to deserve what you want. No man is coming with a superhero cape to save you.
Yes, sir. I agree with you 100%. Listen, brother, I'm going to let you go. I'm going to hit you on the
All right,
back
brother.
End, we'll talk, man. Thank you, bro, for your time.
All right, peace. I'm out.
All right, brother.
Fall comes to us in its own time. Fighters, keepers, losers,
Hit that like button and share this stream if you're not a beta male.
Follow me, baby. The elders are old and out of touch. I have the power to help you become the better version of yourself. Listen to me. I know what's best for you. I am the Snake Whisperer.
Cognitive dissonance is a condition that happens for a myriad of reasons. Many times in modern America, men and women often do one of the following. They deny the evidence. They become enraged when you present them with the evidence. They argue to ad hominem attacks, meaning they attack the messenger instead of the message. And they will fight you or flee because they cannot hear what you are saying. A condition such as this, tied into cognitive dissonance, often happens to those that have or lack self-awareness. They stay in a perpetual cycle of arrested development, exhibited by this. Pain. I've been there, locked up inside my head, broken from fear, illusions, disappointment, and hopelessness. Who heard me in my silence, where being a man means nothing? Despair. I've been there too, desperately seeking answers for the questions associated with manhood, hills and valleys, too bleak to compare. Stress, suffering in a utility silo, no comfort, no security, no freedom, no justice, just do it for others. Challenges, who will help me break the challenges? Lost in the vortex of darkness, hopelessness, fear, and abandonment. I've been there too. I've been there too. Take the next step to your destiny. Join me in this fight. Walk forward. Deep breaths. Head held high, men. Come join me, men, in the winds of time. Stories, hopes, visions, purified in the fire. I'm not a superhero, and I'm not the Reverend Knight. I'm here to help you. Join me then in this fight. Break the chains of your mind. Let's do it now. For now is all we have. Fire! The Kosher Clinician.